everyone, my name is Juan Cavalin and I'm one of the creators of the DGT plugin for Lichess. In this video, you learn how to play on Lichess using your DGT Electronic Board. In order to be able to play online, we need to open the DGT Lichess app. If you don't have it installed yet, don't worry, I'll show you where to get it later on in this video. Once opened, click on the E-Board section to see all the boards detected by Lichess. In the screen, my board is shown, where it shows the disconnected icon under status, and the battery and connection fields are empty, so moves won't be detected until this is solved. The board is Bluetooth, so I'll check that. I'll be looking for a device named something like DGT BT and then the serial code. So once I find it, I need to make sure that it's not just paired, but also needs to stay connected. Now it's connected by Bluetooth. Let's make sure the E-Board is turned on. So right now the light on the side of the board is blinking, which means that it is charging. Looks like it was turned off. Let me try again. So click on the power button and make sure the light remains on and it's not blinking. There it goes, now it's connected. So now we can see the battery and connection port. Regardless of whether your board is serial, USB or Bluetooth, it is always connected through a COM port, in my case COM 15. So if your board is not detected, go to manage serial ports, and in there you'll need to select which ports may have a board connected and which ones need to be disabled and skipped from the scan. So I'm going to disable all ports except COM 15. And if it's still not detected, you can manually start a scan, but currently my board is detected, so I am ready. Lichess can also be used to download a PGN of games that have been played on the board. The last test that we need to do to make sure that the board is working is simply make a move on the board and see if it appears on Lichess. So let's see if it detects the moves. So now the pawn has appeared, which is not good. So we have to click on against and back on E-boards to force a refresh of the board image. And now the move appears. So that means that it is working, and now we are ready to play on lichess.org. In order for the DGT board configuration section to appear under play the first time you try configuring the board, you need to create an API access token. I already set up mine, but here's how you can do so as well. First, click on your username, then go to Preferences, and then scroll down to where it says DGT Board. Under Configuration, you should see a button to automatically create the access token. Click on the blue button to generate the access token. If after you click on the blue button the DGT option still does not appear under play, then you need to type in /DGT at the end of the URL. In order to play on Lichess, you need to have two tabs open. So click on it on one of the tabs, and the option can be found under the play menu. Here you can find a link to download DGT Lichess, and a link to test if DGT Lichess is working properly. this is the most important part of the video, which is the configuration section. And this value should be the IP address of the machine where Lichess is running. However, currently only localhost is supported because Lichess.org only supports connections to HTTPS. The next section is about text-to-speech. You can enable it and choose which voice you want to use, and if you want all moves announced or just your opponents. You can translate the messages and piece names in here, but in the future this will be replaced by crowd-in translations. The last option, verbose logging, is better to set it to no, although if you want to debug because you're running into some trouble, you can set it to yes, so you see more information on what's working behind the scenes. Don't forget to save, and that is all. When you're ready, click play, and this is how the screen should look like. You should see your username on the screen and the serial number of your DGT board, and it should match the one shown on Lichess. So everything is looking good so far. Now let me show you how to deal with some problems. Let's quit DGT Lichess app and see what happens. So if Lichess is not running, you'll see these errors and Lichess is going to retry. And now let's reopen the DGT Lichess app and now it reconnects fine. After 20 retries, Lichess stops retrying, and in that case you'll need to reload the page. For the first game, I suggest playing against a computer to make sure that there are no bugs and that you don't run into an error while playing against a real opponent. Once the game starts, Lichess will know and will set the active game to the game that you're just starting. That's all. Let's try it out.
E4, E6. Knight F3, Knight F6, Bishop C4, D5, Bishop B3, Knight takes E4. Queen E2, C6.
One important thing to note is that when castling, you'll need to place the king and rook on the final squares, although always make sure to move the king first.
Bishop D6.
Also, if you make an illegal move, it won't be detected. Like for example, if I were to move this knight to an invalid square, it won't be detected. If that happens, you'll need to move it back and then make an actual move. However, there's still a chance that it might not be detected, and that happens, just reload the play page. So this time I recovered fine without the reload. When taking pieces, try to make it fast. While you're making the moves, try to not have the piece lifted off for too long, because in some rare cases, it might confuse Lichess and it might detect the wrong move.
Queen E7.
So now let me showcase another error that might happen. Let me try to make two moves in a row for black. So if I move the queen to F8, Lichess is going to get really confused and probably will stop detecting moves. So as soon as I make another move, it will start complaining. Even if I move the queen back to the original position, the software no longer knows which turn it is.
Move.
And the position is going to mismatch.
Knight C3. Knight C3.
So even though it looks like it has recovered, on my next move, I'm going to get an error message saying illegal move.
Illegal move.
This error typically happens when you forget to make your opponent's move. So in this case, you'll need to take back the second move that you made, then make your opponent's move and then play your move. If that still doesn't fix the problem, then you'll need to reload the play page once again. At the moment, move detection is working pretty accurately, and everything, even under promotion, is supported, so it is okay to play rated games, although because of a slight delay that there is between moves, currently the only rated time controls that are supported are 15 plus 10 or longer. For casual games, you can play any rapid time control or longer. Okay, so now I'm going to resign this game against the CPU to play
Black
against your
wins by
opponent.
resignation.
Always make sure to have the board set up before starting a new game. That way it automatically detects the position and you don't have to wait a couple of seconds for it to do so. Although if you do accidentally start a game without resetting, it's fine, you don't have to reload the play page. You just have to set it up and then wait a couple of seconds and then you'll be able to make the move. Another important thing to mention is that if you're playing multiple games at once, you just have to make sure that the position on the board matches the one of the game that you want to play.
Queen c7.
If you receive an error message saying the position does not match any ongoing games, make sure that you have the board set up correctly. After you fix it, wait a few seconds for the next scan to take place, and then it should fix it. Again, the game ID is correct. I would like to thank a few people for making this possible. Thibault Duplessis, the founder of Lichess, and who also helped with the integration of the code. Nicolas Viegas, for providing the super optimized chess OPS library, which is used a lot by the software, and all the beta testers. Thank you all so much for your support during the early stages when there are a lot of bugs. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you enjoy being able to play with your DGT Electronic Board as we wait for the pandemic to end and for offline tournaments to return.